2007 Honda Civic motor mount replacement. I'm Brian Eslick from How To Automotive. I'm going to walk you through that process. So we're going to be replacing these two mounts here on the passenger side. The main motor mount here and then the torque mount here. And these are the new parts here, and here's the part number for you. And this is the torque mount part number. And I highly recommend that you use factory parts on this particular job. Over the years I've used aftermarket motor mounts, and they just don't perform. They don't last as long, or they're not made out of the same type of material, and so they're stiffer, and you can feel every vibration, and just really hasn't worked out for us using aftermarket motor mounts, especially on Hondas in particular. So I like to recommend, it is quite a bit more expensive to get the Honda parts, but you're not doing the job twice, and you know, the customers are really happy when we do use the factory parts. So it's my recommendation for you. So we're going to start by getting the torque mount out first. So we'll just remove the 17mm bolt here and the 17mm bolt here and here, and then this mount will lift up and slide out towards the front of the car. Next, you're going to need a floor jack like this and a block of wood. You're going to roll the floor jack underneath the car and put it directly on the oil pan. Make sure the wood is centered in the oil pan, and you're going to jack the engine up just a hair, where maybe it comes up maybe a ½ inch or so. It takes a little pressure off, and then you can go ahead and remove this bolt here, this bolt here, and this bolt here, and also remove the little tin with the ground strap wire on it. So to get the floor jack underneath the car, I had to lift the car up just an inch or so. Just slide the floor jack under, and then this is going to be my setup here. As you can see, the jack is directly on the oil pan with the piece of wood. So now that you got that bracket off, you need to right underneath the this bracket here, there's a bolt going in towards the firewall, or to the fender well. Let's see if I can get that bolt in view for you. So it's going to be underneath the little brake lines right there. You need to remove that 14mm bolt, and then remove these two 14mm bolts, and then the 17mm down below here, and there's going to be one on the opposite side, that 17mm there, and then you should be able to maneuver the whole mount and bracket assembly out. Now that you got the old mount out, I'm just going to take the bolts that went in there and kind of just stick them in the new mounts like this. It's kind of easier just to do this, and then leave them in there, and then you can take the whole new mount and you can kind of work it in there. The hardest part is getting past the air conditioning line here, and once you get past it, it pretty much falls straight in. And also, when you're doing these, you can the motor now it's free because you're balancing by the jack below, and you can maneuver it around a little bit to line up the bolts. And once you get those in there, then you can line up your bolts, and I like to start all the bolts and first all by hand, just a couple threads each, and then that way you can maneuver the engine around as it does. So start the bottom here, 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 and here, and then after that you can go ahead and put this bracket back on the top, and then once you get all the brackets all bolted up together then you can start tightening the lower bolts first, bolts below first, then after that, then you tighten these bolts here, and then you can tighten the bracket, the little bracket bolt. So that I would tighten this bolt here first, and then this bolt last. And then also don't forget to put your ground strap. When we took this old motor mount out, we took this top bracket off first, and it came already assembled with the new this bracket under, so I put it in like that. But when I went to go put this bracket back in, I didn't want to maneuver past this bracket, so I'm going to go ahead and just take this bracket back off, put this one on first, and then put this bracket back on, and then tighten up all the bolts. So with that bracket off, this bracket should go in nice and easy now. And what you did. So when you go to tighten this top bracket here, you also want to make sure that you use the floor jack to make sure the engine is as level as possible. You don't want to like have it the nose hanging down and tighten the bolts, or the nose hanging up of the engine upwards and tighten the bolts. So that'll put a lot of stress on the mount. You could actually break the new mount. So so make sure you when you use lower or raise the engine to make it where it's level as possible when you tighten these bolts up. And to do these, I'm just using my impact gun on all these, and then I use my 3/8 drive air ratchet to remove all the 14s. So now that you got all the bolts back in and tightened up, including the 10mm here, you can go ahead and install your torque mount. And the one with the long ear goes towards the fender. The one with the short ear goes towards the engine block. So you don't want to have it upside down like that. So go ahead and slide it back in there, and then start your bolts and tighten them down. I recommend starting all 3 of the bolts first, and you will have to probably maneuver the engine a little bit. You can pull it back and forth by hand to get all the bolts started. And also don't forget to transfer over this little counterweight. And it went on the ear right there. So you're going to put that on and then put your bolt through and then tighten them up. Once you get these last 3 bolts tightened down, that completes the motor mount and torque mount on a 2007 Honda Civic. I'm Brian Eslick from How To Automotive, and I'd like to thank you guys for watching my videos and encourage you to subscribe for more valuable videos like this. And thank you again.